So that's what the OneMindSet Foundation here, something that can continue to go no matter the incident or the crisis. We almost like a service. So like the same way you'll see AT&T pull up with a cable, you know, when you see AT&T, they coming in to put in Wi-Fi. Well, you see OneMindSet, we come in to uplift and make change in the community. And so that's the point of our foundation here today.
Oh yes, most definitely, man. I see y'all talking about real estate,
Yes, sir.
home buying. Man, I actually about a year ago I purchased my first home. And man, if I can just give out any pointers, I say credit is key. Like, don't everybody's situation is different. So you can make a lot of money, but you don't really have the score needed. Not just the score, but the revolving credit. So a lot of people think, well, I got a 700 or I got an 800, but you don't have any debt. Like debt is a positive thing. Like a lot of people think, oh, I got debt, I got to pay off all my debt. No, good debt is a positivity in the home buying process.
Right there. I'm gonna stop right there. So what you mean for like people may not know that. So what you mean by good debt is a positive thing to have?
So let's say you have a charge card, credit card, and you have, let's say you got a credit card, Chance, you got a $5,000 limit. Well, you don't want to use I would say over 2,500 on that $5,000 limit. That's a little bit about half. So I'd say less than half. I think rule of thumb is like 30%. You don't want to go over your 30% usage on the card. So you can have, 5 or 6 credit cards, but you don't want to have them all over that 30%, usage. But you want to use them because the more you use them, the more those, and you pay them on time, the more those credit card companies are going to see that, and then they're going to begin to give you increases. And every time you get an increase, that could shoot your score anywhere from 10 to 40 points per increase. So just to kind of give y'all my situation, because like I said, everybody's situation is different. 2 years ago, when I started the home buying process, my credit was at like maybe a 520. That was one score. Another score was like a 480. Another score was like maybe a 602. It took me, I would say, because you have to understand, it takes time. So when you see a lot of these companies saying, I can fix your credit, fly by night, give me 1,500, I'm going to just be honest with y'all. A lot of that, you can do it yourself. If you got the discipline, you save, you sacrifice the money and the time, a lot of it you can do yourself. You didn't mess it up overnight, so you're not going to fix it overnight.
That's true. My question be after that. So you saying your home buying process took 2 years. So just give us like a rundown, like a quick synopsis of just like maybe like a key lesson you learned from the 2 years of your home buying process.
Well, for me, the reason it didn't actually take 2 years. I built my home, so it took a little bit longer for me because I built it. So if you just going out, say you going out tomorrow and you say you want to buy a house, well, you'll get your pre-approval. It could take you could close within a week, depending on your financial situation and your credit situation. That's why I say everybody's situation is different. But I will say, if you take care of your credit, it'll take care of you. In the Black community, we're not taught that because we are made to have to grow up so fast. So a lot of the times when we get out, when we 18, we already living like we grown. Most of us start living that way at 17. So we got to go out, we got to get our cell phone, we got to get us a credit card. We're going to blow it on clothes to go to the club, all of this stuff. Nobody teaches us these things at an early age. We don't know. Our parents didn't know to add us to credit cards when we were 10 and 12 years old, so we can start life with an 800 credit score. Most of us start out with 600s, right? So that when I say everybody's situation is different, it could take you 90 days. It could take you 30 days. Like for me, I built my home, so I had to get my credit right. That took about a year. Then turn around the process.
So when you say you built your home, so you saying you built your home from the ground up, or did you buy a house that was maybe already like worn down and then you fixed it up? So like
no, I went to a builder here locally and we built it from the ground up. Now what you were saying, I also bought an investment property, 3 investment properties this year. So I bought my house in January, and then I turned around in like June and bought 3 investment properties.
Okay, so we're going right there because that's 2 good questions I want to get with you. So like she said, is it true that it's cheaper to build than buy? So is that true?
It varies because I found a lot of older homes that I fell in love with, but they were around the price of the new home. So for me and my wife, she wanted the new house, but I wanted the older home because you get more bang for your buck. So what I mean by that is you looking at 260,000, 260K, you may get 3,400 square feet. As to where 260K in my subdivision, 2,200 square foot home. So you take a 34 square foot home, Chance, that's easy, 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath. And you could take that and you already got upside equity in that home from the day you buy it. As to where in my house, you're going to spend that same 260K, but you're not going to get as much. You understand what I'm saying? So it's just all in your preference as far as what you're looking for. But I'll be the first to tell a person, like, weigh your options, because you really can find so much upside in an older home if you buy the right property.
Okay. So my question would be, since we're going from, you said we already talked about your process and like how yours was different than others. And like with instance with David, one reason I started bringing him on because his process of buying a home. Because right here she says, it goes hand in hand with the questions. How do you go about work history if you work for yourself? Due to COVID, I had to quit my job, but I have a business on the side. And so that's why I wanted to start with David's situation. Because with David's situation, a lot of times us and people that's not maybe in the middle class, or maybe that's the ones touching 100,000 a year. Sometimes you kind of be scared to tap into the home industry because you feel like I don't have the money for it. But a lot of times you don't need the money for it. You need, like you said, you need that credit history for it, or just that credit. And so with David's situation, why I wanted to bring him on was because his ability he was investing each month into stocks. And when he was investing each month in stocks, he ended up making a certain amount where he used as a down payment for his home to buy his first home. But like he said, he used one, instead of building it, he bought one in a lower community as a stock, as a rental property. And so going to that, I'll just ask you a question. Why did you buy your 3 homes in those neighborhoods, and what was your reason why?
Well, my family home, my personal home, I bought that home, for me and my family. And then I was introduced to real estate investment. Now, when you hear real estate investment, make sure you underline investment. That's the part that a lot of people miss. It's not a get rich quick scheme. You understand what I'm saying? So when you hear invest, it's going to be your time, invest, your money, invest, your ideas, invest. You invest in everything. When you hear real estate investment, you understand what I'm saying? So me buying properties, you can go, you can grab a house for 10K now, 5K. Now it's going to probably take you 30, 40, 50K to get it livable. But when you're talking about that's the part of that's the investment part. So you'll pick up a home for, let's say, 10K, and then you'll get that property, and then you go in and you have to put 50K in it to get it livable. Now you can do that 50K over however long it take you, or you can go to your bank. You understand what I'm saying? You get you a line of credit, you go buy that property, and then you invest that line of credit into that property, and it's going to return that profit. It'll pay for itself. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of the times, that's why I say it's so many ways you can go. As for someone who doesn't have a job, but they have their own business, the thing I would tell you is just make sure you're doing it right, from your paperwork side to your money side to your tax side. Make sure you're doing it right. When we run business right, business run right for us. You understand what I'm saying? But you can't do anything under the table. So all your paperwork, because when you go through that process, they're gonna want to know every little thing. They're gonna want to see where the money going, how it came, where it came from. They're gonna want to see the check stubs. They're gonna want to see the deposits. They want to see all. When you go through the underwriting process, they don't miss a thing.
What do you mean by the underwriting process?
So that's when you go. That's like one of the final stages to sign off on your loan. All right, so that's the underwriting process. So when you go through that process, what'll happen is your lender will call and they'll tell you, well, you're about to go through underwriting, and then that's when your loan packet will go to somebody, and they're gonna look at your job, they're gonna look at your income, they're gonna look at your credit, they're gonna look at your debt to income ratio, they're gonna look at all of these things, your assets, what you have out there, like your cars, your bills, all of that stuff. They're gonna add that stuff up, and they're gonna say, hey, can you afford what it is that you're asking us for?
Okay, so my next question, but I don't know if you know this question, but so for instance, they have programs out there a lot of people don't know about. Definitely with foundations, governments, and programs. They have programs and tax breaks for first-time home buyers, and they can be ran through the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. And you also, I can say, you get that through Foundation Works. And so that's one thing I want to give. And like, if you had any knowledge about to give back to them, also like sometimes the first time home buyers, also being minority or women's, that you can also get tax breaks, and also my dog Roy, you can also get tax breaks, and you can get I want to say government grants to help with your funding for your first time home buying.
They offer a ton of programs. I actually have man, if we can get this call going again, I have two very, very well educated young ladies that I could actually bring on, that I could get to come on, and this is what they do. And they're all about helping our people, helping our ladies as well as our young men, just so we can see that side of life that we're not used to. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what they do. So I don't have all the information as far as those programs, but I do have the resources and the people that do have the information for those programs.
For the initial one, the reason why I brought I had people too that was like educated, but I wanted to bring in somebody that was educated also like the process. So when people hear it, they hear like true stories. A lot of times people get caught up in just the wave of what they see posted on Instagram, the way they see on YouTube, but never really that true story about how it went. Like you said, it's an investment. It's not something that just the next day or the next month, oh yeah, I'm up. No, it's something you got to put your time, your money, and you also got to put interest into it, because it's something over time double his income. And so that's what I want to just bring about true stories about. And also, I was wrong about my boy David. He bought it because he bought it in the inner city community. He paid for the house full with the money he made from stocks. So I wanted to fix that. And so my other question was, how did you get qualified? So on your process.
Okay, the way I got qualified, it was so many options. I mean, we went through it like right when COVID hit. So when COVID hit, the housing market, the rates and everything dropped. So we had it was great. It was a great time to buy. That's why I say it's so different for everybody. But for me, we went I want to say a USDA loan. I believe that's what it was. But I think we end up locking in at like a 2.6 interest rate. Like that's, you know what I'm saying? So now I would say if you're going to buy right now, it's the time to buy. Don't be afraid, because a lot of times people look at their credit and say, well, I can't buy a house right now. No. You may be overqualified. You may be overqualified. So you can't just look at it from just that standpoint and say you cannot buy a home, because they want you to buy a home. They want to give you that funding. As long as you have to understand, as long as the banks can give you money, that keeps the bank in business. Now, what your friend did, that's ideal, but everybody's not in that situation where they can have the funding to go drop on a home and pay it off cash. I wish we could. I would tell you, don't finance anything, pay for it cash. Ownership is king. But you can't establish credit if you don't have a bill. You have to have credit in order to establish credit. And credit, it can open up so much doors, but it can also cause a lot of trouble too if you mismanage it.
That's true.
That's why I say it's critical that we learn how to handle credit. I wasn't taught that. Now that I know, you can go get whatever you want when you have a 700 or 800 credit score, whatever you want. But honestly, your desires change. So when you say I got an 800, I'm gonna go get a $70,000 sports car. Man, I don't want that bill. I'm gonna get that for. I don't want that. That can't serve me a purpose. You understand what I'm saying? So when you get to that point, credit wise, you're gonna be so careful with it, how you handle it, because messing it up and not being able to go get the things that you want and the things that your heart desire, that's a miserable place to be in life. I had to travel that road. That's tough, man. That's tough. Walking in to the home, the first time home buying class, knowing you're not in a position to buy a home. That's depressing. But what you can do is you can put yourself in a position to buy a home if you just have some want to and some discipline. So, like I said, man, I wish we could be sitting in a classroom setting, because there's so much, that can be said. And
that's why I have some questions written down just to keep organized, because I know you can go all day about it. And so I got a question. You said you had 3 investment properties, and how did you find your properties? How did you go about? So some people may not know how to find, how to look, and how to search for it. So how did you find your 3 properties? What was the process you went to, and maybe an application you used?
Well, actually, my realtor, she called because she knew that we were looking to get into the investment side of it. So she had a couple of deals come, come through, and she called, and she will call maybe two. That's why I say, don't be afraid to network, because you never know, the hidden gems that are out there. A lot of times, what the old people say, a closed mouth don't get fed. So, networking is key. Like what you're doing right now, it'll open up so many doors for so many people to work with people that they didn't know exist. So for me, when we bought our home, me and my wife, we sat down with our realtor, and she was like, hey, if y'all ever looking to getting into investment, let me know. It was like, yeah, we are. And at the time, you don't think nothing of it. And then one day she called, and she said, hey, I got these properties, and 5, 10, 15K. And we're like, well, we're gonna get 5, 10, 15K. But the whole time, don't worry about how God is gonna allow you to pay for it, how He's gonna allow you to do it. Just know that He's gonna, if it's in your heart and you desire to do it, He'll make a way for you to do it, right? So she called, and a couple of deals we had on the table, we look at them, we're like, that's not it. And then she'll call and she'll say, hey, well, I got these properties. They fixer uppers. It's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some money, but here's the price. Here's what the seller's asking for them. And the deal came, and it kind of made sense. And we went forward from there. And we were fortunate for our investment properties to pay cash. So we didn't pay cash for our home. We financed our home, but we cashed out on the investment properties. Now, with that being said, we have to fix those properties up. You understand what I'm saying? So, we bought those properties, we own those properties, but it's gonna take a good amount of cash and time to get those properties livable. And we're in the process of working on them now. So
okay then. And so my also had my other question was, so you said you paid cash. So for some people that may not know, is it a certain, what's the percentage that's placed upon that home to pay cash? So say if you had $20,000 home or $30,000 home, how much, for some people that probably couldn't pay full in cash, how much percentage would they have paid for a down payment based off maybe a $10,000, $20,000 home?
I think on the investment on the investment side, because it would be a business, like a business style loan, I think it'd be required 20% on that loan. But I think 20% on a $10,000 or $15,000 house, that's not much. You know what I mean? So but it's gonna be 20% down on that property.
And then so my next question would be so from going back to your first home, you said you financed that first home. When you financed that first home, how did you secure the financing? So like, how did you go about, like you saying, being qualified? So what was the step? Because you said you went to a class, like a first time home buyer class. So what's that process for people? Many people may not know, just like the process. You have, like some people like me, I may not know. Like I think you trying to buy a home, you call a realtor, you try to, your credit lines up, the incomes lines up, and it's a done deal. But what's the actual financing process that you had to actually go through? Like, just give out like maybe 3 or 5 steps for the next person to know.
Your pre-approval. First thing you want to do is get your pre-approval. You can't do anything without your pre-approval. That's where you'll get in touch with your realtor, get in touch with your bank or your lender, and they'll run you to see where you at. They'll do what they call a soft pull to kind of see where you need to be, and if they can get you pre-qualified for a home. In the event that they can get you pre-qualified, I believe they'll give you a letter. They'll tell you, hey, we got you pre-qualified for, let's say, $200K. That's your pre-qualifying amount. So they'll want to keep you at that $200K mark or under that $200K mark, and you'll take that letter, go back to your realtor, or if your realtor and your lender work together, your realtor will call you and say, hey, we got you pre-qualified for this amount. And then you'll go on a search for your home. In the event that you are building your home from ground up, that kind of gives you a little bit more wiggle room. So if you're going to build your home, once you get your pre-qualifying letter, you'll take that to the builder. The builder, sit down with you from that point. You'll pick your floor plan. You'll pick everything you want, the color, the windows, the sinks, however you want, the drawers, the dressers, whatever you want in your home. They'll do all of that, and then they'll start the building process. They'll give you a start date and a finish date, and that'll normally be about 6 months, give or take, depending on supplies and stuff. And between that 6-month span, that's kind of when it gets difficult, because you can't really go out and do anything credit wise. Only thing you can do is grow your credit. You can grow your credit, get your credit in a better position, but you can't go out and buy cars. You can't go out and go get a cell phone bill in your name. You can't go out. You can't make any type of mistakes. Nothing. You can't miss a payment on anything. And it's like they watch it like a hawk. So, you know,
So
you want to be,
they walk. So you saying for the whole time that you're in your buying process, they're watching your credit every single move.
man, they watch. Man, they watch. Let me tell you, it's so, and again, it's different for everybody, but it's so tedious, man. They calling, they asking for this, they asking for that, and it's fun. It's fun, but it's so stressful because when you finally get to that close date, when they say, okay, you clear to close, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for that clear to close email, and once you get that clear to close, that means everything is good. Your underwriting was successful. You went through, they verified your income, everything was good. Your bank statements and everything were good. Your credit is where it needs to be, and you clear the close. But throughout that process, they're gonna be on you like white on rice.
Mm.
So you want to be as disciplined as you have ever been in your life. Also, they want to see you saving money. That underwriting, that team, that loan team, they're watching everything. They got full access to your money. They got full access to your accounts, your credit, everything. So they can see everything. You can't lie to them. You can't hide nothing from them. They can see it all. So the best thing you can do is if you're going to start the home buying process or the home building process, work on discipline. Just work on discipline. I can't preach that enough. And we had to learn it the hard way because one thing you'll do is you'll start using those credit cards, and you got to remember the credit cards are a blessing and a curse. So you got to be detailed with how you use them. You do need them to establish and build your credit. I can't preach that enough, but it's how you handle them. If you mishandle them, they'll ruin your life.
Okay, so let me rewind back in time. So I don't know your exact age, and we don't need to know your exact age, but I know that you older than me, and so I know that I'm older than somebody in this chat right now. And so my question being for people that's younger than you, what would you say if you was to rewind it back in time? What were some things that you should have done earlier that would have allowed you to get into the home buying process even earlier? Because you said it was a couple of times in your life where you wanted to buy a home but you couldn't, and that was eating you alive. And so like, how could you teach that to the next generation? Hey man, don't even go that way, because I'm telling you right now that's not the way you want to go. Because I already been there, done that. So what's like 3 or 5 tips you could give to save somebody from going through that process?
One thing I would say is financial discipline. You can't preach that enough. Like if you take the money that we blow at McDonald's, if you take the money that we blow on shoes and clothes, if you take the money that we blow to take trips, sometimes you got to sit down. And I mean that cut and dry. No big fancy words. You got to sit down. You got to sit down and get out the way. And you got to do that. You got to get off the grid, and people not going to understand it, right? So you don't know that at a young age because you want to be out, you want to be seen, you want to be doing this, you want to be doing. We got to let everybody know we doing good, right? We not hurting, right? But you don't have anything to prove to anybody. You want to set yourself up so that you don't have to be in the same position you grew up in. And that was the biggest thing for me. Like if I would have knew at 22 what I know now at 34, like, man, my life would change, would have been, man, listen, it'd have been way different. But I didn't know those things. I had growing pains. So if I can tell you anything, like right now, make up in your mind that like I'm not gonna do what everybody else doing. I got to be different so I can set myself up for the long run. If I do this now, then I'll be able to live the way I want to live later. But if you play now, then you're gonna have to suffer for it later. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, take care of your credit. Pay your bills on time. One of the dumbest things I heard a guy tell me one time was he didn't pay a bill. And he said to me, he said, these were his exact words. He said, oh, well, it'll fall off in 7 years. It was probably, looking back now, that was probably the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life. He joked about not paying a bill because those are the type of things that we grow up. Oh, well, they'll get it when I get it. No, don't go get it from them if you can't give it back to them. If you know you can't pay it, don't open it up. Don't start it. Don't go do it. Just because a credit card company offer you $2,000, if you know you don't have $2,000 in the bank, don't get that card. Get the $300 card. You could build just as much credit with a $300 credit card as you can with a $2,000 credit card. Big limits bring big debt. And if you don't have the big income to pay the big debt, get the small debt, the debt that you can pay. Because those are the things that people don't teach. We'll see people throw that, I got $25,000 credit card. You don't even make $25,000 a year. So how are you going to pay back a $25,000 credit card? Well, they gave it to me, so I got it. and you end up in $25,000 in debt, filing bankruptcy at 27. You understand what I'm saying? So financial discipline at an early age. I like how I see this younger generation are big on investing. Get into investing. Learn the correct way to invest. Cryptocurrency, the stock market, real estate. It's so many ways that you can invest your money so that your money will work for you. But the money you're going to take and play with, no. Put that money in a place where it can play and work for you. And that's the thing that the younger generation needs to learn that I didn't know. That there are ways that your money can work for you without you having to go work for nobody. And we're not taught that, so we don't know that. So I would just the tip I would give you is learn financial discipline now. What you do now can possibly save your life later. What you don't do now can possibly ruin your life later. So the choice is yours. And it all comes with discipline. It just falls back to being disciplined. Your mindset. The mindset. So
I like that, man. You over here preaching, man. So I'll leave with my last question. If y'all have any questions, y'all can also put them in the comments. But one of my last questions is, do you know what an escrow is?
Yes.
Okay, can you explain that a little bit? Some people might not know what that is, the escrow.
Okay, like my escrow account, and from what I'm still learning too, y'all. So your escrow account is account.
We want to talk to people that don't know it all, like the people that had to go through the form. It's like that's the real story. We don't want the glitz and glams. We want to know the real so we can pass it on to the next.
So what I do know is escrow, it's a good thing. Your escrow account is a good thing. It actually grows your money. So I know that out of my escrow money, out of your escrow account, it covers your taxes. I think your city taxes on your home or whatever throughout the year, and a portion of your note, your mortgage note, goes into the escrow account, and it builds and it builds and it builds, and you can take that money out, I believe, at the end of every year. But don't hold me to that. I'll find that out for sure and bring that back. But that is an account where the money sits there and it continues to grow and it continues to build and you can pull from it. That's your money.
You said so. Your escrow account is money that you put in from paying the city taxes on your homes.
Yeah, well, they're gonna take your city tax money out of there. They can. You could pay it out of your escrow account, and then whatever's left over, that's your money to have to do as you choose. Now, say if you take that money out of your escrow account and pay an extra note a year, you can pay your home off sooner. You understand what I'm saying? Whatever you decide to do with it, but it is your money. You understand what I'm saying? So I from what I do know, it builds. It's an account that's put there for you that a percentage of your mortgage goes to, and it's your money to keep.
Okay, I like that. And so, man, we kind of hit a lot of stuff. I got a question for your real estate investment. I want to ask a question. So some people may not know. Is it possible that you can make offers on homes? Like, man, you can come in. Like a lot of people don't know. Even with buying cars, when you go buy a car, you can be like, man, I ain't gonna lie, this car been in flood damage. I think I can get this car for $5,000 less. Now you can do that same things with homes. You can go into a home and you can say, I think bring your own electrician in. Everybody knows somebody here that does electricity. So come in and be like, these wires probably not gonna work. I think this is gonna trip in a year. So they can knock off some prices on it. Maybe the roofing isn't done right. Now I don't think that the price of this home that you're giving me for it can be lower because everybody, he said home house. Everybody is anywhere we go is trying to make money. The realtor trying to make money, the person that listed the house trying to make money. So it's always ways you can come in and try to lower the price down. So is there any tips that you can give for maybe just for offering your own price and trying to learn how to lower the price of homes?
Yeah, that's where your inspection side come in at. If you're gonna get an inspection done, the inspector go out and you can go out with the inspector and they'll kind of look at the house, or they'll do an appraisal on the house. That'll kind of tell you what the house is worth and the condition of the home right then and then. From that point, it'll be mainly between you and the seller. You can come back and offer and bring a counter offer to the table as to what you want to pay for the home, and they can either accept it or not. A lot of the times they're never going to sell the home for more than it's worth at that time. So if it's $100,000 house and it's worth $100,000, then you're gonna pay $100,000, right, or more. But if it's let's say if it's a $15,000 house and you trying to get it down to say 12.5, and the seller the seller's trying to get it sold. Well, you probably could get it for 12.5. A lot of the time, anytime you're buying a home that cheap, it needs work. So they know it needs work. That's why it's an investment property. So a lot of times they're not, once they put their price out there, they'll give you a little wiggle room, but those investors are going to pretty much hold solid to those prices because they know the potential of the property. So
Oh, got you. And so somebody asked a question, said, what were some of your difficulties that you had when building your house?
Building my home, some of the difficulties, getting material. It was so many delays. And like when you think you're gonna close or when you think you have reached the finish line, it's like it's always something. It gets to the point to where you gotta have faith. You gotta have crazy faith because it's gonna become some times where you want to give up or you want to quit or you're gonna be like, God, I don't think this is supposed to happen for me. And that's just the enemy trying to tell you that, hey, you're not supposed to have what is truly yours. And as long as he can get your mind, then he can get you to do whatever he wants you to do with your body, right? So he can get you to think a certain way, or he can get you to feel a certain way. He can get you to get down on yourself, get down on your luck. One of the hardest things was just, them calling back saying, okay, Mr. Moore, Mrs. Moore is not ready yet. I think the day before we got ready to close, they gave us a closing date. We were supposed to be there. Everything was lined out. And then they called the day of the closing and said, y'all can't close. And it was something that wasn't even our fault. I think they got some numbers wrong. We had some upgrades added into the price. The seller didn't add, the builders didn't add the upgrade prices to the home. And just like that, they had to close the closing date, push it off. Like my wife was in tears. Like, about to give up. This the day of the closing. So they had to push the closing back another week. Another week we were out of home. We was out of the apartment. We was out on the lease. So sometimes you just got to fight. You're going to have to fight. Even when they say no, when life's saying no, when all hell breaking loose, you got to stay the course. Because if God promised you that, then that's yours.
Man.
If he said you're going to do it, if he said you're going to get it, then you're going to get it. You might have to go through hell and high water to get it. But once you get it, you'll appreciate it more. Nothing worth having comes easy. Nothing worth. You're going to take losses. You're going to take losses.
Coach. Coach, he's a coach. That's why he talk like this, man. Can motivate a horse to run from California to New York. But see, what's up, boy? But now, my question was to you. You said your building material. So I was asking, could you break down like some of your expenses that went into building your home, like maybe building material, maybe the process for electrician, maybe can you just break down like some of them stuff like people don't know about, like it sneak up on you and creep on you that you never thought when you first went in?
Well, because we went with a bulk builder, our builder kind of handled all of that. But I will say this, because it was COVID, COVID was really bad and everybody was kind of locked in the house, couldn't go outside. They would always call and say, well, we can't get y'all toilets. Like, y'all can't get the toilets. No, the garage doors on back order. Like, y'all can't get the garage though. No, we can't get nobody to come out and lay the floors. Nobody, it's like real tedious type stuff. So like when you building a home through a bulk builder, that builder, once you sign off on him to start your build process, he's gonna take everything from there. He's gonna get the electrician, the plumbing, or the people are gonna come out. They're gonna come out, lay the foundation, do all that kind of stuff. So we didn't have to handle that kind of stuff on our own physically. We had someone there to kind of guide us, which was the builder. But if you do go through that process, like by yourself, you're building it all the way from ground up by yourself, you will be responsible for, finding your own plumber, your own cement company, your own roofing company. And that's pretty tedious right there. So, but we went through a bulk builder. So once we signed off on the build order, they took it pretty much from there. So. Okay,
then. I got you, man. I appreciate you coming on, Coach. You kind of like asked a lot of, you answered a lot of questions. And you went through a lot, and I can tell just the way you was just adamant about it, and just your process. But I'm glad you got the home. I need to come check it out. And if y'all got any questions, y'all can drop them, and so you can answer them. But if y'all don't have any questions, I'll close it out. But I really appreciate you coming on, Coach. And my dog Dave, we're gonna get him back on because he got some knowledge to drop too. We're gonna get him on next week. But everything happened for a reason. It was a reason why you hopped on, Coach. We appreciate your time. How did you find good contractors his question was, how did you find good contractors for investment properties, especially if you don't need a general contractor?
Well, with me again, my lender was my best friend. So it was like she really took care of us, and she all about seeing us win. She want to see us win, our people win, and she just put me in the best position. So really, when she called and said, "Hey, I got this deal," I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I took her word. I trusted her word. My wife and I, we trusted her word, and we actually sat down at the table with the investors, and we knew going in. Oh man, it's so much going into investment, going to investing with an open mind, going to investing not in a hurry. Don't be in a hurry. I had to learn it the hard way. When you go into investing, real estate investing, please go into it with patience. Something that a lot of us don't have. I don't have it. I want it to happen now. Like, God, I've been struggling too long. I need it to happen right now, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
so when you go in, if you do decide to go into that real estate investing side, understand that it takes time. And as far as like the seller side, that side of it, get with a realtor or get with somebody that you trust that's gonna steer you in the right direction. I can't say that enough. Being surrounded and networking with good people and the right people. That's the gist of it. Having people around you that you trust and that want to see you win. When you surround yourself with those type of people, like-minded people, then you'll win every time.